So we just closed on what I suspect will probably be the best deal we've ever done. And we're going to document every step of the way, every part in this journey, and ensure that we share our learnings and lessons with you guys. But right now I want to talk about failure, and more specifically my relationship, or our relationship to failure, you know. And it's weird because I think everybody says it's okay to fail, you know, but in actual fact we're not okay with failure, you know. And I don't want to get too deep in terms of what the origins are for failure, you know, but the essence in terms of what I've seen is the fact that as a society we're not embracing enough of failure, you know. And as a result we create a culture where anyone looking up to you is never going to expose themselves to scenarios which are most likely to result in failure, you know. And as a result you've got this environment where everybody's playing it safe all the time, and by extension the progress which we could be making is stifled, you know. It's stifled. I can't come up with a better word, you know. And it's weird because especially when you look at your leaders, your moguls, your influencers, you know, everybody likes to talk about failure in retrospect, you know. They like to talk about failure when the success has been there, you know. So it's almost like whenever you have a failure, it's not cool to just talk about it in itself, but rather wait for a success story which you're going to dress on top of the failure to say, hey, I failed but I didn't give up, and therefore I made it big, type of thing, which is cool in itself. But sometimes I think we really need to lean towards the idea of failing, because when you really look at the mechanics, you know, and funny enough the mechanics also go together with motivation and all of these things, you know. It is only through failure do we get to the next level, you know. And you only ever fail when you give up, you know. And for the most part, we as black people, we don't have a lot of people that already have the blueprint, you know. And as a result, there's a lot that we need to do by way of trial and error, you know, failing forward, so to speak. And in my opinion, as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep going, you are going to see progress in your life, and over time you will make fewer and fewer mistakes, and by extension fail less and less, and get to a point where you really start to hit the big numbers, you know, and achieve big goals. But the essence in terms of what I'm trying to say is the fact that as a people we need to be more embracing of failure, you know, and not failure covered with success, but there's just failure, you know. Like, I'm going to try something which I've never done before, something that no one around me has ever done before, right? Something which is going to make me very uncomfortable, and I might not get it right the first time, but I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over again until such a time that I get it right. Because one thing has become clear to me is, if you've got the focus and you're really stretching yourself in terms of what you're trying to do, you know, and you are open to new ideas, the answer inevitably comes, the solution inevitably comes. But we live in a culture where nobody celebrates failing forward, you know, and as a result people are afraid, you know. Like, even in school, you know, it was never okay to fail, you know. It was about getting things right. And maybe that's an extension of that mindset to say, even in real life, we want to get as few wrong things as possible. But the flip side of that, or the opportunity cost of that, is actually learning, and to be okay with knowing the fact that you're going to suck at something, because you can't be good at something until you actually start with it. And when you start with it, it means you haven't actually done it before, and by extension you're going to suck at it. And the missing piece in all of this, in my opinion, is a culture where people are saying it's okay for you to suck. You've never done this before. Just try and do something worthwhile. Try and do something which is very uncomfortable for you, and get it wrong and go again and get another thing wrong again, and just keep failing forward until such a time that you reach your goal, if there's even such a thing, because our goals for the most part are moving targets. As soon as you hit something, there's a next thing that you want to achieve. But if you can create, and I'm also somebody that's guilty of this, but like, if we can create a culture or like an environment, even the way we teach our kids, of just trying and really applying ourselves, I think as a people we can achieve some really amazing things. We spend too much time celebrating successes, perceived or real, but we don't spend enough time celebrating, attempting, and failing forward, which for me is the essence in terms of growth. It's the essence in terms of success. Success comes from failing forward, getting something wrong and doing it again and again and again and again, and sucking at it and becoming less sucky over time. And for me, that is the essence in terms of what I'm learning now. And yeah, man, I think we need to get to that point where we just say, you know what, I'm just going to try this, and I'm really going to give it 100% shot. And everyone around you, whether it's your family, your friends, your colleagues, or your peers, should be like, hey dude, you're doing something really cool. And if you can somehow foster a culture like that over time, we're going to start having some amazing stories of success, because right now we're struggling quite a bit, and everybody's always looking for a shortcut. Nobody is willing to go through the process and the difficulty of trying something really worthwhile and following it through, because of how we perceive success. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for today. I hope you find value in it. It's something that has been in my mind for quite some time, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'll see you in the next video segment, in the next series, whatever it is we're going to be putting out